Hi, it's Xenos here. I know my voice sounds a little odd, and it's because it's been a long minute since I've fronted. I do have a few cards here because, of course, most of them are entangled with other cards that aren't even supposed to be here. Let me see something real quick. Like some of these are language cards, and I put them all in the same area because, of course, I had to. And right beside me, sitting down, is Prince. He's enjoying, you know, just living. Try to move. Oh gosh. I'm hoping this just like stays up there at least for a little bit. But anyway, how y'all doing? Welcome in. I feel a little heavy today, energy wise. Um, I'm not sure why, but I'm gonna go in with. I have a lot of cards just laying around the room that I have to find and put together in their proper decks. But you know what? I'm gonna be doing these my own personals. I'm also gonna be using Dark Tarot, the Truth Oracle. Sorry. Um, and the Horror Tarot. And there's a limited space because I'm in the closet. Go figure. It keeps disconnecting. You have cheese and holding on. These cards are so fucking ugly. I'm sorry, they've been through a lot. And some blank cards that are not supposed to be in there. Yeah, let's put those out. And there's three. You also have decomposition and disingenuine. Binging, feel good, malfunction, and malnutrition. And on the back you have, well, on the front you have fresh air, and on the back is expectations, along with reevaluation. Some more blank cards that are not supposed to be in there. And on the back of fresh air is meditation. I have my glasses, so I really can't see. I have to lean down and look at that shit. Okay, that's up to you. I'm not gonna force you to stay here. Have a good one. Um, Also, thank you. Um, so, I'm gonna tell you the reason why I felt heavy energy in the first place, and this is just because of my own personal self, and it's because the reason I haven't even been on as much is because I was deep in headspace, and there was a lot of stuff that was kind of overlapping where I couldn't even get out. And a lot of that stuff, what I'm talking about is when it comes to trauma and how you perceive your own trauma and how you're working through it. Now, for me personally, given that I am a system and I have many different holders of trauma, um, it's more difficult to pinpoint what exactly is causing a trigger or what the main cause is. And even with a person who's not a system, you could have repressed memories that stem from childhood or teenagehood, however old you are. You can have repressed memories that kind of just sit in the back, especially when you have CPTSD or PTSD. Um, those are major blockers for memories, especially when it comes to yourself. How you doing? Oh, I love that. I love your. I love your. I love your avatar. Uh, um, um, and the way I think of it is when it comes to those hard truths that we have to see within ourselves and actually bringing them and facing them specifically, you can have a lot of emotions, especially anger, resentment, maybe even relief when you're finally like, okay, so this is why I've been feeling like this. This is why I've been triggered this way. This is why. This is the why. You know, what you don't know, your mind already knows, your body already knows. If you don't have it in your conscious, your subconscious and unconscious will have those answers for you. You just have to go into them and bring them out into the conscious. And that's harder said. That's easier said than done, and it's much harder when you don't want to face those fears. Um, and to my own self, it's been hard. Like even though I've had these innate knowings, I didn't know the full story. And even now, I don't know the full story. I just know the bits that caused me to have the bits that cost me my own understanding of self, my own childhood. I have those just sitting there, and when it comes to releasing those, you just have to be honest with yourself about what happened. No matter how hard it is, even if you're a sobbing mess, even if you start crying, you have to be honest with yourself about those things because crying is a release. Having emotions is natural. You're supposed to have emotions, especially in your body, but you're not supposed to keep those emotions in. You're supposed to let them out, whether it's through singing, dancing, working, um, riding around or walking or just sitting outside. You're supposed to release those emotions because if they stay in you for too long, you're just allowing yourself to repeat the same cycle. Even if you don't want to repeat it, even if you're not trying, your mind is going to have you repeat those cycles, especially when you don't have that knowing of yourself or you don't have that knowing of how I'm going to face this situation or how I'm going to face this situation that's similar to an old situation. You're going to have those inside. And with letting go, with let it go, I would say start journaling, even if it's just one page a week or one page every 3 weeks, as long as you're allowing those emotions to come into a physical form and you're reading them out. You can burn the page if you want to and just not think about it again, but you're gonna have to release those anyway. Um, and it's funny because holding on, let it go, acceptance, you're gonna find acceptance to those parts of you that you found unlovable. You're going to find acceptance to those parts of you that you really didn't even want to accept as a truth. And even if those are the truth, like for me personally, um, I've experienced a lot of sexual assault, rape as a child, and even when I got to my teenage area, it didn't entirely go away because those up until like I would say 12 or 13, that was when I had got out of that situation. Um, and it wasn't like it was happening on a day-to-day basis, but it was what happened when I was in elementary school around that time. I A lot of that stuff had built up. It wasn't a day-to-day thing, but it built up. And when I got to middle school, it wasn't the same because I still had those issues from when I was in elementary that were just in the back of my head, and it stopped me from actually making genuine connections and feeling like I had to not trust anyone, or I couldn't even be around people for a long time because I always had this self-conscious feeling about my body, and even how I was growing through puberty. It was hard for me because I always felt like I was being stared at like I was a meat on a stick, you know. It's a funny thing, but if you've watched One Piece, you know how Luffy is when he gets around food. It was like that. It was like you were just something that was on a plate that was to be feasted on. Um, and even then in middle school, it didn't happen just two times. That was when something had happened. But I was constantly re-traumatizing myself throughout my childhood. And even when I got to my teenagehood, I was constantly re-traumatizing myself by viewing explicit images and videos. I know what you know what explicit means when I say that, but I was doing that and re-traumatizing myself because in my head it made sense that you are only used, you are only serving a person purpose to be used in that way. And when it comes to childhood sexual assault, even when it comes to if you get assaulted when you get older or at any age, hypersexuality can cause issues in your brain chemistry to where you're not you're acting out your traumas, and a lot of that was something that I had to work through. And even now, I still have those issues that kind of draw me back. But it's like you're stronger than that. You're much stronger than your trauma. Your mind is much stronger than what you have faced, and you have to accept that what happened to you was not your fault, and the people who did that to you chose to disrespect you. And I say this with still heaviness in my heart that I'm not over a lot of the stuff that happened. I might act like I'm just happy go lucky, and or I might just, not have an expression on my face. I might just be emotionless or not have anything, but that's more so to do with just fighting battles inside rather than reacting outside. Um, and with overthinking, your mind can like have it can have a lot of thoughts. Actions make a person. Thoughts can cause a person to make an action, but your thoughts in itself are just thoughts. They're just words that float around, and you get to pick and choose which thought you want to act upon or which thought that is going to be good for you, or which thought is going to be bad for you. And it's so much easier to continue your trauma than to heal from it. And healing, it's it's costly because it takes a lot of time to heal wounds within yourself, especially when you see yourself being pulled back into situations that started it in the first place. Um, and I want to say the last time anything that really happened to me was molestation, and that was when I was 17. Um, and I want to say that was the last time. I really hope it was. I'm pretty sure, but being at that age and not really having and wanting to escape from life itself, because when you experience trauma, I don't know if this is for most people, but for me personally, I've had a lot of suicide ideation, um, and I remember this one time when I was in middle school. I had this friend. We were in a relationship, but she is my friend. Like they're my friend, and we've been friends um since really young. Actually, we've only dated for like 2 years, and then I realized I have to step away because I was putting my traumas into their hands when it's supposed to be my responsibility to heal these things within myself, not the other person. But I remember one of these days, and trigger warning, but in my head, I don't know what was going on, but I really wanted to feel anything but the emotions that I felt. And I was almost gonna, not this right here, but on my legs, because you don't really get to see legs. You don't see legs. I always covered my legs anyway, unless I was wearing shorts or a dress, and I was forced to wear dresses more often than not. And even now I'm a little more comfortable with them. But when I was younger, like given the track record, of course I didn't want to wear that shit. Go figure. But anyways, um, anyway, with that being said, you have a lot of people who are here bring you into these spaces to where you're going to face these fears that are within you, and even trigger something in you that's like, I have to understand this part of myself before I go to something else. I have to understand these parts of myself before I allow myself to continue in the ways that I have before. Because you know that deep inside, you have an inner knowing that when something isn't right for you, or when you're not doing something right, it's always going to be there. Even if you ignore it, it's always going to be there. And even if you don't want to be wrong, you have to realize every person has been wrong some point in their life. Even if it's wrong multiple times, you have always been wrong about something. And nobody is perfect. I'm not asking nobody to be perfect, because I don't even think spirituality, the universe, is perfect. It's built on imperfections because we're it's built on imperfections because that's what we are. As imperfectly complicated, humanely, we are. We're complicated souls. Everything is so complicated. Not everybody is going to be on the same path. Not everybody is going to do the same thing. And that's the beauty of imperfection. And I've oftentimes had to overthink what I consider to be. Sorry, Prince needed to go out. But I oftentimes had struggled with the idea of what perfection is and how I'm supposed to be perfect, even though I was not perfect in the slightest. I have always had my own doubts, my own fears, my own outbursts, and being, yes, he does love you. He's there through your all. Personally, I don't believe in Jesus or Christianity. Um, yes, I believe the spiritual world is real, but I just don't necessarily connect to Christianity or what they have. And that's just me personally. That's my own personal. Um, but if you believe it, if that's where your religion is, go for it. I'm not stopping you. Where was I at? I don't remember. But we're gonna get into the cards. Um, and I feel like a lot of the times when it comes to our own vices, virtues, whatnot, um, those things are just what we were built on in our childhood. And as we learn and as we grow, as we get older, you're allowed to change and to move from what you once were. Every day you change, it's every day you change is going to lead you to a better version of yourself. I've grown up in Christianity, and as far as I'm concerned, how I know that some trans people, some queer people, still hold on to Christianity beliefs and whatnot, but to me, I've just never synced with it. I've never understood it, especially because how I was told and how I was raised, I had to be one specific way. There was always these gender roles that women are supposed to do this, men are supposed to do this. I don't fit into any of those categories of what a man or woman is. To me, my feminine and masculine energy that's androgynous, to me, I just fit in any I fit in the space that I feel connected to, and my space is not really either. I just am what I am, and I am who I will be. And as I get older and as I move on, I will become something else. Everything is fluid to me. Um, but I'm not here to debate whether God is real or whatnot. I believe that Source is real. That's what I prefer to call God. Um, I believe that the universe is real. I believe that the universe is turning tables, is doing everything it can to make everything into balance. Um, and all of that mostly has to do with people rather than just the universe itself. Because people as a community are more powerful when they come together. And I believe that if they have, if they're able to get a conscious agreement to a religion or what they believe in, you can make a conscious agreement to allowing people to be who they want to be. And I've been around a lot of people who were closed minded and only believed that it was one way to think, that people should think, I should say. And even now I am surrounded. But to me, life will be what it is and we'll move on regardless of if you try to force beliefs on somebody else. I don't believe like you should do that. If nobody believes in the spirituality that I practice or cards, tarot cards and all that, I'm not gonna force you. If you don't understand it, you just don't. It's as simple as that. All I know is that I exist and I'm here for a reason. And if I haven't died by now, especially given how many times I almost have died and put myself in danger, there's a reason why I'm still here. Anyway, you have the Knight of Pentacles. Exactly. It's not. Forcing is actually pretty stupid. But yeah, yeah. And even then, people who are in power right now are forcing stuff on other people, autonomy at that. And they're always looking for scapegoats. That's why minorities are oftentimes the scapegoat. Ta- uh, anyway, you have the Tower and King of Wands in reverse. Eight of Cups. Um, it it depends on the person. Like honestly, if you feel safe in your religion, if you feel connected to it, go for it. But it really depends on the person who's enforcing it because not everybody in the community is like that. I've seen a lot of Christians who are cool people. I've seen trans Christians who are cool, but it's really just certain people within those communities that do that. And it's only because that was how they were taught. I can't hate them for it. I can't disrespect them for it, but if you're being disrespectful, you're going to have to know that it's not where it is right here. Turn that disrespect to somebody else or to yourself because you're not doing it to me. Yeah, but don't turn it to somebody else. Like honestly, people have enough shit on their plate. Um, you have the Four of Pentacles, the Empress. Interesting. Nine of Pentacles. Yeah, but yeah, it is. It very much is. Um, and that's unfortunate. Very unfortunate. And the best we can do is just let other people know who we surround that they are safe in our space. And there's a lot there's a lot that I feel that I haven't had a safe space to be. And oftentimes, what I consider safe spaces is like how I am right now. I'm sitting in a closet or I'm just like by myself. That's what I consider my safe space. I'm just doing my own thing. Um, and I've had people where I've felt safe around, and it's sad to say that a lot of that just haven't been my own family or relatives, I would say. But that's just life. Everybody has their own path, and whew, okay. Sorry about that. I'm having such a nice conversation, and then all of that shit happened. Oh shit. Let me see if that will work. Just having such a nice conversation. I hope they do come back. Um, anyway, you got Six of Pentacles, Three of Pentacles. Yeah, exactly. Like, I feel like people can only go as deep as they go deep with themselves. And I even had this issue with myself because I was avoiding a lot of things that was in my past. Um, and avoiding those situations, yeah, it's not the best. Yeah, but people can only meet you as deep as you meet yourself, or they can meet you as deep as they meet themselves. Sorry, mix of words. How you doing? In the back, I mean, the last card is Knight of Wands. Uh, and on the back we have Justice. So I kind of got this sense, um, especially seeing the Empress next to the Nine of Pentacles. I don't know why, but I feel like this reading mostly pertains to the shadow aspects of oneself, especially when it's stuff that we keep so buried within ourselves that we are unable to bring into the light. Um, and it's so weird. It's like she's giving birth or something. It's like she's giving birth. And it's like, or actually, not even just giving birth, like expunging all of the toxicity that's in her into something else. And maybe at one point in time, it was just full on, I would say, in connection to my soul, how I've been a toxic person in relationships. I have no shame in that. Like, I have shame of doing the things, but I have no shame in admitting it at that, But I feel like when it comes to those aspects of us, we can always turn them into our light. Um, and our light can even be turned into shadows, darkness, I should say. Um, and with the Knight of Pentacles, especially saying is that Hannibal Lecter? I think that's Hannibal. I think that's Hannibal. I'm not crazy, right? Yeah, yeah. I mean, I had this card that was in like my cards that's like this, and I have both the quotes. Blood is thicker than water, and the covenant. The covenant. Oh wait, shit. Something about the covenant is thicker. The covenant, the people that you connect with who aren't family members, those are your coven. They're your coven. They're the ones who you see that depth in within yourself. And you can I honestly feel like if you have an instant connection with someone, that's not just maybe it can lead one way to like a karmic or, somebody who's not good for you or somebody who is good for you. Sometimes you can't distinguish the both unless you have at least a couple conversations with them. And that's how I kind of view it. Exactly. You're not supposed to fit in. I'm in this closet, but You know, like how the closet is with the queer community. You're supposed to come out. Maybe you're supposed to be in a cocoon for a while, but you're supposed to be out there. You're supposed to be running around. Maybe not running around with people, but you're supposed to be out there showing who you are and not shying away from your inner nature. But I think that I do think that was Hannibal Lecter. But what I'm getting from this card specifically is that being bounded by your own mind, um, being bounded by perceptions that you don't even believe to be true of yourself. Because a lot of the times we do absorb what other people think about us and say about us, and it's kind of just sticks in the back of our head and subconscious. Exactly. You learn as much as you learn from people who are for you learn from people who aren't from you for you. My words. And seeing how the tower is here, it's kind of like being stuck in. It's in reverse though. I see it as being. At one point, you did allow yourself to stay in there, to stay quiet, to stay in this state of where I'm not letting anybody see anything again. I won't let anybody hurt me. But in that, you're hurting yourself because you're not seeing that even though this specific person wasn't for you, there are other people out there who are more than willing to show you the love and gratitude that you deserve. And you showing it back to them. You can't like just two cups, pour in, keep pouring into one and have it overflowing, but nothing getting poured back to you. It's supposed to be an equal give and take when it comes to people. And it's funny because I've seen this post earlier who was like, I pour until you're ready to give back. And you pour until I'm ready to give back, which I think is a good foundation for relationships that are that are specifically hitting rough patches, because even when it comes to family or romantic or friendships, there's always going to be rough patches where somebody is not able to reciprocate back to you in the ways that you need. So when they're unable to, you can give to them as much as you can, but you need to realize you have to give to yourself and they have to give to themselves in order to go back into giving to you. Understandable. That is understandable. Being single lead being single. I've been single um since 2021. And that was I was a teenager when I had that relationship, and I ended it, and honestly it was most of it was my fault, but at the same time I still have this thought or like these emotions that when it comes to relationships, they always go both ways. Sometimes it's not both ways, but I feel like it goes both ways because I feel like it goes both ways because if you're constantly giving to somebody and you know they're unavailable, that has that's a wound within yourself that you continuing to perpetuate. Hi, how you doing, Marwa? I hope I said that right. I'm doing fine. How are you? I'm currently in a reading right now. Um, but I'll come back to it when I finish what I'm doing with the collective, for sure. Um, so just give me a little minute, you know. Um, but yeah, with relationships, you can always feel like something is off. You always have that innate knowing that something is off about someone. And I'm gonna tell you real quick because this happened, I would say maybe last month or in the past 2 months. There was somebody who was in my apartments, and I was walking my dog that I had to let go. Um, and when we walked past him, he had called out to me, and I was like, "The fuck?" But I don't know, something in me was like, okay, but let's just talk, because I was in a talkative mood. I wasn't really in like, off standish mode right there. But we had sat down and talked for a while. And mind you, I've only, since that first time, we only talked like two, three more times in person. And we communicated mostly over text, but it was more so him talking to me. And I was just on this level where I'm just like, I'm not trying to be anything more. I'm just trying to go with the vibe. And if we friends, then we're friends, and that's gonna be the end of the story. Um, but I should have known that first night. I'm not crazy. I may have been high, but I'm not crazy. That nigga whispered something in. It's the ghetto coming. But he whispered something in my ear that sounded sexually suggestive. And maybe I didn't hear it to the full extent, but I know when something is being suggestive in that way. And I know when people are looking at me with like, like I'm meat on a stick. And maybe I was given the benefit of the doubt, because I do give people the benefit of the doubt, because I give that to myself. But after that third time that we met, he asked me for a hug, even though I told him no. And he stood down the stairs just with his arms open like this. Like I was just gonna go and get a hug. I was waiting for my dog to get up the stairs at that point, because I was like, I said no. First time I say no, you better believe it means no. Um, and what I told to him is, boundaries exist for a reason. And you overstepped my boundaries by even asking for that when I didn't even. I you can like I ain't gonna hate you for asking it, but I'm gonna have issue when you're still trying to get it even after I said no. And what I had told him the last time we spoke was that, um, I asked him, "What are you expecting out of this connection with me?" And he said he was gonna go with the flow, and if anything happens, like, like he wanted to get into a relationship with me, I straight up shut it down. I said, no, we're not having that. I'm not interested in you that way. I won't ever be interested in you that way. And in my head, I'm just like, yeah, we're not doing that. That's gonna be the last time we ever speak. And it was. I haven't spoken to him since, and I feel fine. Um, But when it comes to that, you have to be firm in your boundaries, because people will try to walk over you and make it seem like, oh, you just playing about them. You're not playing. Don't play about yourself. You wouldn't want nobody to play you. Don't play about yourself, especially when it comes to your own autonomy. Yes, yes. Projections, I feel like, okay, personally for me, I feel like, uh, projections can go both ways, but if it's one person doing it more, then that's just that's just their nature. And you can't heal nobody from projecting. Like that's who they are. They have to heal that themselves. But with the Eight of Cups, it's funny that the Eight of Cups kind of came out after I didn't even do the King of Wands. Oh, sorry. Oh, jealousy is just makes people ugly. I'm sorry. Oh, just makes them horrid. Um, but it's kind of like with this King of Wands, it's like something's trying to get you to like come over. Come over. Don't be scared. Come over. But it's in reverse. It's like, why do I need to go over there? I don't want that. I don't want to go over there. There's something weird about that. It's weird behavior. That's why the Eight of Cups came out. You're walking away. You don't want to be over there. You're heading out the door. There's other cups I can find somewhere else. I don't need that. I don't need that. I want to go over there. I don't need that. Then you have the Four of Pentacles in reverse. Like, to me, when it comes to the Four of Pentacles, it's financial stability. And maybe right now it's a little rocky with the finances, or maybe it's rocky in terms of having that stability within yourself to where you're trying to figure out what the next move is when it comes to where you're heading on your path. And when it comes to our path, we don't know all the answers. I'm telling you, when it comes to being, when it comes to your gut feelings and your intuition, you have to trust those. Um, and more often than not, I do trust them, but sometimes I kind of give a little question where it's just like, why? I have to ask why, because if I don't ask the questions, then how am I going to get the answers? If I don't have like a certainty that this is what I'm supposed to do, I'm going to have those questions of why, you know? I have to have that clarity within myself before I go into anything. Before I even meet with someone, before I even talk to someone, I have to have that inner clarity that I am understanding of my own self and I'm not projecting onto them or I'm not perceiving something that ain't even there. But people can tell you right off the bat how they act towards you in your face. They think they plan in your face, but you can see right through them. The eyes are the window to the soul. That's why I look people directly in their eyes, even though I'm autistic and I have uncomfortability within that, more often than not, I'm looking you in your eyes and I'm seeing you for who you are. Eyes do not lie. Eyes tell you everything you need to know about someone. Oh, have a good night. Thank you for coming in. It's been a pleasure having a conversation with you. And I hope you heal from the past, who you were with before, because you don't need that energy, babe. Do you stay blessed? Um, so, going on, what I said about the Empress earlier, of course, what I said about the Empress earlier, even with the Nine of Pentacles, because this Four of Pentacles had went straight to a nine, and the Nine of Pentacles is upright. So, you're allowing yourself to be seen as this person that, because maybe people can have this projection that you aren't a caring person, but it's only because you're not going to be caring. You don't want to give that caring energy to them specifically because you feel something is off. You feel something in your soul, in your gut, in your mind that something is off about this person and you don't want to be around that. And who cares? If you're going to be the villain, babe, be the fucking villain. Be the villain in their story. I don't give a fuck. You say this with your sis. I don't give a fuck how you perceive me. I know who I am. I know what kind of person I am. I know what I bring to the table. If you don't like how I'm being, how I'm doing, how I'm moving, that has everything to do with you, and you're not going to project that onto me. End of the story. And even then, with the Six of Pentacles, with the Three of Pentacles, because you're reaching, and it's all these fucking Pentacles. That's the Knight of Wands. It's like walking as the undead or some shit. You're allowing it. You're allowing it to flow. You're allowing people to show their ass. If they want to show it, let them show it, babe. Let them show it. You don't have to. You don't have to stay there. You don't have to be in the. You don't have to be in the coots. So when you're actually getting into this mode of where you're starting something for yourself, when you're allowing yourself to build and allowing yourself this stability within you, you're you're letting yourself know that within me I am safe. Within me I will always be safe. Within me I refuse to let people bring me out of my own self, because you're building, you have so much that it's right there for you, but it just hasn't come into fruition yet. It's slow. It's slow moving. That's why I see the Knight of Wands, and especially because they're like the undead. You know how the undead is always slow when they move, unless it's like those really fast zombies. But more often than not, when you look at stuff that's like that, they're very slow moving in how they move towards you. Um, and it has justice right here. And you have justice. Like, you're not playing a fool anymore. You have a card that's upside down in the deck. Oh shit, it's the Queen of Wands. Oh shit. Okay. It's the Queen of Wands. I'm gonna leave that out. but you have justice on route. Like you're no longer staying the Eight of Swords. You're no longer staying bounded to perceptions that you have not had made okay with yourself. You're no longer allowing that, and you don't even have to step off the throne to do that. You are coming into a space to where you are able to authentically be you, authentically be loved as you, authentically being appreciated in the ways that you should have been appreciated before. Especially when it feels like a lot of the times when we get treated bad, we start thinking that that's the only thing I deserve. No, you are deserving of everything you want in your life and more. You are very much deserving. Even to people who aren't good, who are low down, you are still deserving. And I hope that you find peace within yourself and peace around you to realize that and to get and to be better for yourself and who you're around. Okay, that was addicted, alone, oh, sorry, addicted, and alone in this world. It was upside down. I typically like to get three, but what anger and chains. It was upside down too. I feel like one more needs to come out. So split it. Hiding your true self. Okay. And on the back we have bride in a cage. Again with the cage. Again staying in this idea, in this perception of what you were supposed to be. You have the key to get yourself out of that cage. Your mind is what keeps you in, especially when you're allowing yourself to believe what people say about you. And it doesn't make you weak minded at all to have those perceptions, because if you're going to be self aware and conscious of yourself, you have to realize that in yourself you do have toxic traits that need to be dissolved and turned into positive traits. Um, you unlearn and learn every day. Literally, when it comes to especially seeing addicted and maybe you have vices. Everybody has vices. I don't care what anybody says. Everybody has vices that kind of keep them in a loop, but you are stronger than those vices, and um, maybe it'll take a few years or maybe even a couple months, uh, but you are able to transform those vices into virtues and to get yourself out of these chains that hold you and keep you stuck. Now, alone in this world and anger and chains. Well, they kind of fit together with color scheme wise, but this is like a trinity here. You're not supposed. When you hide yourself, you're hiding yourself from people who are meant to be for you. And I see this specifically with Alone in This World. Maybe in at one point in time you were like, "Oh, nobody's gonna love me in the ways that I'm supposed to be loved." You love yourself, but that's one person. You're not alone in this. You're not alone when you realize that self-love is the ultimate love that should always be the first love that you have. And I've always had low self-esteem, um, because of my own traumas and how I've perceived myself and projected onto others. All of those things were from my anger. It was from my own cage. It was from my own hatred of self that had made me hate others. And transforming that hate and into understanding, seeing the vulnerability that anger actually is just hurt and guilt. All of that is just parts of you that are asking for the most love. All of those things are just asking you to see them for what they are. They're just hurt. They're just hurt. And when you allow yourself to see that hurt and tell it that it's okay, I'm here for you. I'm here for you. You don't have to, you can yell and scream all you want. I'm here for you. And I'm the safe space you need. You don't need a safe space in anybody else. I'm the safe space you need. And I'll always be a safe space. You can tell me anything. Tell that to yourself. Look in the mirror. Be like, I have you. I got you. I'm on your team. I'm not trying to be against you. I'm on your team. When you let yourself know that, you no longer will have the fear of being who you authentically are, being everything that your mind sees you as, this beautiful, wonderful soul. You will see that it's only a farce when you allow those projections and that anger and that hate to control how you react and the thoughts that you have about other people. And it's not saying that anger doesn't have a purpose or that it's just only hurt. Anger definitely serves a purpose, especially when you know you're being mistreated. It definitely has a purpose. Um, and so does guilt. So does every other range of emotion. They all have a purpose, but more often than not, when you feel those things to yourself, that's just hurt. And now we're going to go in with, oh shit, the Hidden Truth Oracle. So there was one card that just kind of, it was face down, but yeah. Sometimes I stay awake thinking about you. I don't know if these were supposed to be like, I don't know if that's the case. I don't think so. Uh, I'm so attracted to you. I wonder if you're happy without me. I'm gonna get one more card. I know I messed everything up. We both know I am not the one for you. And on the back we have, I wish I had treated you better. Now, the way that I'm seeing this is when it came to those first three cards in the beginning, you know, it was the Knight of Pentacles, the Tower, and I think that's the King of Wands, yeah. So when it came to those specifically and seeing these, um, especially given the topic that I was going over with when it came to perceptions and how people view you, if someone has guilt towards how they treated you, that guilt has already settled in when they did the mistreatment. It already settled in. Maybe it took like 3 to 5 business days, but that guilt already settled in as soon as they had did something wrong and they knew that there was no way coming back to you after doing those disrespectful after disrespecting you. The guilt already set in. Um, and seeing how it's like just a past reminiscence. It's like, okay, they know what they did. They know that they're not even supposed to be in your life because of how they treated you, or they don't even have access to it anymore because you blocked it out and blocked it away from them. Um, and they can wish all they want, but wishing don't get you nowhere. That's not I. Some wishing don't get you nowhere. That's what I say. Because if you wish you had done it better, then you should have did better when the first go around had came. You are responsible for your emotions, especially how you treat other people. You are so much responsible for what comes out of your mouth and what goes from your head to your mouth. You have that responsibility. So when you continue to perpetuate hurt and just be disrespectful to somebody else, you are knowingly doing that regardless if you remember or not. You knowingly did that. Don't matter if anger had clouded your judgment, don't matter if fear was clouding you. You knowingly did that. Even if it was a subconscious effort, you knowingly did that because you are faced with it coming into the front and coming outside of you. So let them stay where they are. And maybe, sorry, I heard noises and it's coming from outside, so it kind of just got me a little confused. But when it comes to that, like, I am grateful for the spiritual lesson. Oh, that's so sweet. And there's no going back unless you are willing to give them another chance. Do you? But personally, for me, when it comes to me being finished with somebody, I'm done. I'm not going back. Maybe I have regrets. Maybe I have, you know, I had these expectations that something would have happened, but there is no going back to what hurt me. And you better believe that when I make those clear decisions, I'm getting everybody in line to be like, we're not going back there. We're not doing it. I don't care if you miss them. I don't care if you want to be around them. They had did something that was so disrespectful that we don't even want to be around them. We don't even think about them. We don't even want to talk about them. And you have to be firm with yourself, because if you're not firm with yourself, how you expect people to respect you? I mean, respect is supposed to be given, but also feel like respect is earned too. And when you're firm in yourself, nobody can tell you anything else. Um, but that was the reading. I don't know where old girl had went when they wanted that love reading, but you know, I'm going to I'm gonna real quick. I'm gonna pull a few cards, and if they do come by this reading again, um, yeah, just know this where you go. Whew. Oh, this is the Divine Tarot. Tarot of the Divine. But this is typically what I use when it comes to connections of various kinds, because I just love the imagery and how much it's beautiful. It's just beautiful. The energy I feel from these cards is just unhinged. So, Seven of Coins. I'm gonna pull three cards. Knight of Swords. With the King of Coins. And on the back you have the World in reverse. And on the front is the Six of Swords. Um, it's kind of giving like a past, present, and future type of vibe. With the past being the Seven of Coins, maybe there was a little bit of seeing eye to eye, but it was kind of a little bit of a tilt off. And there was a lot of passion between. And it started off good. Like, there's a lot of crops everywhere. Everything is just into fruition. Like, it was going, and it was speedy. In the present, I feel like that was like speedy. Like, it was going up and up and up. Like, it was fastly approaching. But I also feel like with that sword, maybe somebody was a little on guard. Maybe like they kind of, or maybe even you. Like, it was, you were kind of being, maybe took a step back or kind of left out. Something had drew you away, because I see the building in the back, and I don't know if they were leaving from home, or they're going to home, or they're going to a whole different place. That's weird. And with the King of Coins, the Tree of Life. Why did that come to mind? I don't know. But I feel like this relationship had left. It left. Although the roots are firm on the turtle shell, and there's flowers growing, I feel like it left a long lasting impression. But it's growing off of you and solely you. And with the world in reverse, I think that it was needing to end because it was something that was kind of, maybe it was external forces. It's not always going to be a third party, like another person, because third parties don't just mean like there's another person in, because it could also be work, it could also be family, it could also be any companions, pets they have, or just something that's in an outside force that's kind of blocking the way and stopping it from going back into this full swing energy. And like I said earlier, everybody experiences rough patches when it comes to relationships of any kind. Rough patches are, they're easy, it's easy to end something because of a rough patch. It's much, get the words out. It's much harder to mend something while you're in that rough patch or when you end something because of a rough patch. And I don't remember what these cards are called, to be honest, but the Hermit Tarot. Okay. So we're going to do that and the Oracle. So I'm going to pull one from each. Or not. They just spat out like fucking a bunch of them. Okay. I think I'm only supposed to keep this one because that was the only one that turned. Like, that just flipped over like that. You make me want to do bad things. But I'm gonna read out these other ones. Do you think about me too? I hope you'll wait for me. You already know. Now is not the time. Need more time and wait. So everything has essentially been put on pause. Like, not an indefinite pause, but it's been on pause because of something that's outside of the relationship. I want to tell you how I feel. I feel you leaving me behind. And it's really just up to you if you want to wait for this. I want to feel that way again. I bury myself in work to forget you. Okay. Um, but as far as I'm concerned, I feel like that it's been on pause because of something that's outside of the relationship, and it has everything to do with, maybe it's even you. Maybe you even have like something that you have to get through, but it's definitely being on pause. And you can wait or you can move on. It's really just up to you how you want to continue, how you want to move around. It's up to you. Nobody is stopping or making you stay somewhere. Um, so I don't really know. It's own perception. It's really up to you to get that clarity because you already have the answers within you. Like, I really didn't even have to do this. You have the answers. You just have to think about it and meditate on it a bit and kind of look between the lines instead of like you have to look between the lines. And between every line is going to be an answer that kind of just gets you in that zone of where, okay, I see now. Like, you're gonna just wake up one day and be like, aha moment. um, anyway, that was really all that I was gonna do today. And, uh, you know, actually, one more thing. I'm gonna end both readings are just gonna end. But I'm going to I'm gonna pull like let's see what comes out of here real quick. Just like the final save. What's going on? Okay. Sickness, a blank card, and Libra. And on the back is balance and violence. Ooh, that's a little loud. We have music, inner wounds, Scorpio, and then that's a language card. Language card. Family ties. Okay, so it's really just summing up what we went over in this reading, honestly. You know, there's wounds that you have to heal within yourself and a balance that you have to cultivate within yourself. Um, and I don't necessarily think that as much as we heal, we still need other people outside of ourselves to kind of trigger those wounds to see what we need healed. And I feel like uh, don't overthink too much about being at like the end game is not to be the end game is not to be like, oh, I have to be healed before I do this and this and this. The end game is to see yourself as humanely as possible and realize that we are always going to be a working project no matter how old we get. Because we are not the same person we were a year ago. Hell, we're not even the same person we were a day ago. We can consciously make changes every day to allow ourselves into different avenues of what we want to experience. And you are allowed to have those different experiences and grow. Um, and that's the end of the reading. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, this is Xenos, and have a good one. Keep it juicy and a koozie.